Aston Martin is one of the most iconic brands on the road, blending heritage, performance and style in a uniquely British manner. So we've come to the UK to have a look behind the scenes at what makes Aston Martin truly special.
Aston Martin's British base includes the Aston Martin Works Centre for classic cars, the ProDrive home for motorsport, and its main headquarters here in Gaydon, where modern cars such as the DB11 are built.
Now, Aston Martin is expanding. The brand is already famous for beautiful GT cars such as the DB11, and it's introducing track cars like this hardcore Vantage GT8. There's more on the way though, such as the DBX SUV, which will be ready in production form soon. And of course, you can't forget the absolutely scintillating Vulcan track car. Just look at the performance potential of this machine. The brand is really growing in its bandwidth.
Aston Martin Chief Executive Andy Palmer is a true enthusiast who loves to go racing, so there is a real focus on motorsport that backs up the brand's performance. GT racing versions of the Vantage can be found all over the world at tracks like Bathurst, Spa and the Nürburgring. Aston won the tightly fought GT E-Class at Le Mans in 2017 with the old Vantage before building an all-new machine for the upcoming season. There's a little bit of competitive DNA in all of its road cars, and that spirit dates right back to the beginning of the brand.
Heritage plays an enormous part in Aston Martin's identity, and there's no place where that is clearer than here in Newport Pagnell, home to Aston Martin Works. Now, this is an absolutely magnificent site. It's a classic Aston Martin DB5 that has been restored here in Newport Pagnell from the ground up. Now, this car has all new bodywork, a bolstered chassis, a new engine, and even some modern features, including a reversing camera, satellite navigation, and air conditioning.
Back at the Aston Martin factory in Gaydon, the team behind the latest models such as the DB11 combine that heritage and competitive performance with modern design and craftsmanship. Miles Nernberger, Creative Director of Exterior Design, applied those principles when shaping cars such as the new DB11.
You're allowed to be a little bit romantic but not retro in what you do. You can't be retro, you have to keep moving forward. The key word for us was to be progressive, so we had to take the brand, got 100 odd years of history, we have to keep moving forward with it. We always start with proportion, but it was always like, how do you reimagine every element of an Aston Martin and make it the next step? So starting with the grille, we actually look back at early cars like DB5, DB2s, and actually how strong the line, what we call the moustache line or the S-curve off the grille, how strong that was, and we wanted to recapture some of that strength in the car. So if you look at a DB11, the grille and all the forms of the bonnet behind it are all generated from that shape.
Every Aston Martin is handmade here in Gaydon using a variety of materials including aluminium and advanced composites. Now have a look at this DB11 here. The bonnet and front guards are one single sheet of aluminium that is crafted into this amazing sculpture that really anchors the styling of the vehicle. There's nothing else quite like that on the road. This is the heart of the DB11, a 5.2 litre V12 with twin turbochargers that help it make a massive 447 kilowatts of power. Now, one of the things that sets the Aston Martin apart is its transaxle layout for the driveline, where you've got the engine at the front and then a torque tube, and then behind that you've got the transmission, differential and rear axle in one complete unit. Now, here we have two of the final inspection bays for the DB11. You may notice a difference in colour temperature between this station and this one here. Now that is to account for different climates and lighting environments. For example, cars that are going to Japan will be subjected to super bright lights that replicate the neon atmosphere in some of their environments, whereas cars maybe heading to the Middle East go through a warmer light, basically to make sure that their cars look best in the climate that they're destined for. You take all those ingredients and the end result is this, a car that's not only beautiful to look at, but beautiful to drive.